Welcome back to the Market Chef. Got Chef Ryan here today.
Very excited, Chef.
It is a very exciting today, Ryan. I've got one of your favourites. I've got some wicked Jerusalem artichokes. You've bought enough of these off of me over the years, Ryan. So please tell me what makes these so special to you.
For me, they're the golden nugget that no one knows about. You don't really find them in supermarkets, Rob. I've been buying these off you.
You have?
For 7-10 years. They're absolutely incredible. They're English, there's two types. They're savoury, they're smoky, they're versatile. What's not to love about them? They're absolutely fantastic.
And come on, tell me a little bit more depth about the Jerusalem artichoke. Where are they from? Do you know that?
Definitely not Jerusalem. Do you know the connection to Jerusalem?
They have no connection.
They have no connection, so it's just a branding somebody thought would be clever. They're actually from North America.
Correct.
And there's two types that you see commercially. There's Stampede, which are a little bit purple, a little bit brown, tougher skin, really nice for roasting, deeper flavour. Then you've got these beautiful ones which are called Fuchsia. They've got a softer skin, they go softer, nice for purees, make a really nice crisp and a really nice pickle as well, which we're going to do today.
Ryan, these, your favourites, I'm afraid, are not from Lancashire.
Oh.
These are grown by the Farley brothers, been growing for over 20 years down in Devon. And they are amazing at growing these little bad boys. They are just superb. So what are you going to cook for us today with these little special beauties?
So Rob, being one of my favourite ingredients like we've talked about, I'm going to show you how you can take a fantastic central product like English Wagyu. Yes, it's going to be delicious. It's going to be incredible. And instead of standing alone, you can partner a fantastic vegetable, fruit. In this case, we're going to use the artichokes today in 3 different ways to show you how it can complement such an individual, beautiful ingredient to almost steal the show a little bit. Should we get cooking?
Just as long as we don't use too much of these, because one of the things these things do, they can make the room very whiffy.
Is that right?
That is right. Didn't know that, did you, Chef? Let's get cooking.
So welcome back to the Market Chef kitchen here at County Supplies, and today we've got an incredible product, one that you can see in front of us, an incredible product, and you'll recognise the name. It's Wagyu, and it's from Suffolk, and it's English, and today we're going to put this incredible ingredient on a plate with some vegetables alike that are going to not just empower but stand side by side with this flavour. And usually if you eat Wagyu, you'll get it served on a plate with some pickles or on its own, but for me, I think what's great about championing this product and taking it to a new level is finding some partners from the plant-based vegetable world to complement it, and if not complement it, take it to a new level. So with that said, we have some incredible ingredients here, and that ingredient that we talk about partnering is going to be the Fuchsia English artichoke, and we've got a few different textures. So we've got a lovely puree here, which I've made literally by boiling the artichokes thinly sliced with equal amounts of raw apple juice. So you've got a sweet earthiness there that's going to partner with the sweetness of the fat in the Wagyu. We've got some beautiful pickled, they were raw. I made a hot pickle out of IPA beer and poured that over. So we've got some pickled Jerusalem artichokes, crispy Jerusalem artichokes, some pickled shallots, really simple, half a lemon over 1 sliced shallot with a pinch of salt, leave for a couple of hours. Cheshire cheese, neighbouring town to my county of birth, absolutely delicious, works really well as a creaminess to bind that beautiful meat with the artichokes. And then we're going to make a coal oil, also known as ember oil, really nice, something I do in the restaurant, and it just adds that smoky grilled ribeye flavour that just ties these two amazing key products, the artichoke and the Wagyu, together. Chives to finish and add a little bit of piquant and a little bit of kind of salady rawness at the end. And with that said, I think it's time to get cooking. Okay, so a couple of elements we need to do here. Most of our textures are ready to go. We prepared those beforehand, so it's all about cooking the Wagyu and the ember oil. So first things first, I've got here some incredible neutral oil, rapeseed in this case. You could use sunflower, a neutral oil. When we say that in the kitchen here at County Supplies, we just mean almost like a flavourless, high smoke point oil, sunflower, vegetable, rapeseed. We prefer rapeseed because it's English. So some hot embers. I'll just grab those over here. So in the restaurant we have a hibachi grill, which is a Japanese Korean style barbecue, and that's going all day. We must cook between 40, 70 dishes on it a day, and all those juices fall down. So we've replicated that with those embers at the end of the night. We get some oil and we just pop some of those embers. I've had all that fat, all the little Wagyu trim on it, into the oil, let it infuse overnight. We get this beautiful kind of smoky dressing. So we'll just go ahead and do that now. This is probably about 300-400 degrees, and just want to pop that slowly into the oil. And that's just gonna smolder very, very gently and smoke that oil up. I might just get one more in there. And it just gently infuses, not too much theatrics there. You don't want it to be too dangerous, but as you can see, just popping away there, infusing that oil. So you want to give that, it's good overnight, a couple of hours, and you're good to go. Add a little bit of salt and you've got a perfect ember oil ready to dress your vegetables and meats. Okay, so your pan should be really hot. I want to say really hot. We have a bit of a term in the kitchen here at County Supplies that it should be like blue smoke almost. So if you look down here, you should be with no oil in the pan, just looking at a very fine mist of blue kind of translucent smoke, and that's a good indication that your pan's ready to go when it comes to cooking a high fat meat like this ribeye. Okay, so on to the beef. Now we don't need all of this, so we're just gonna go in and take a nice kind of sectional muscle of it out, like so. Beautiful, beautiful piece of meat. And then we just want to take it down into small stacks. Notice I'm using a serrated blade. You get in there with the high fat. You know, people say Wagyu should slice like butter. Yeah, when you're talking about fillet and parts of, you know, the rump and the sirloin. This is sirloin, but as well, you've got some sinews in the top, so I find it quite, a lot easier to go through the top part a little bit with a serrated blade. And then let's take that cap off. Now we've got a beautiful product here. This has been supplied by H.G. Walter. So H.G. Walter, based in London, they're an incredible producer that we've partnered with here. And they work with the Earl of Stonham, so out in Suffolk, where they produce this incredible ingredient. So really, really delicious. Really naturally grass-fed. And as you can see, looking at that board, just the butteriness and how relaxed the meat is shows what a great kind of, you know, rearing took place here. It's absolutely amazing. So no fat, Wagyu is key here. The fat in Wagyu just allows it to caramelize straight away. So really hot pan, straight in we go. So with this fat as well, it's really, really nice just to add a little bit of flavor, because flavor comes from the fat. If you can imagine you've got you know, a chicken breast and you boiled it, for example, with no skin, it wouldn't really taste of a lot, as opposed to if you pan roast it with that skin, it'd give it a lot of flavor. And that's what we're doing here. The fat is very important for the rest of the protein, the red bit that you see. So with that little cap, you can see I just popped in one of these. Really, really milky, beautiful, soft fat, and just allow that to kind of come out and flavor that meat even more to add a huge intensity to the finished product. So just turn that heat up now. And we're just trying to sear this. We're going to serve it quite rare. It's tataki style, so predominantly a Japanese style to the dish, how we're going to finish. Slices of semi-raw beef that's been seared on the outside with all of these garnishes has really elevated it somewhere special. So just searing one side. Once you get that beautiful caramelization here, the fat just comes out and just locks in that juice. Again, we're not trying to cook all of that fat out of the meat. We're trying to just get a little bit of flavour and smokiness on the outside. So we'll just turn that over now, continue to cook, move that fat around the pan a little bit just to distribute it a little bit more. And the smell here in the kitchen is insane. It really is beautiful. As well, don't put salt on the steak at this point, because it's so delicate Wagyu, you end up drawing some of the moisture out, and that'll interfere with crisping and toasting, so we can always pop a little bit of salt on at the end. So that first bit, about a minute, minute and a half, and then we'll probably go about 30 seconds each side. And really just celebrating different parts of the pan where the heat hasn't been lowered by the meat, just to help crisp up the outside exterior a little bit. And then out the pan we go. And we've got a seared. Now seared terminology that comes in the kitchen when something is seared on the outside and usually you know, semi-raw product, and Japanese tataki is just that, and it's only done with the finest cuts of beef. And what better way to celebrate with some of the finest vegetables here today in the studio. So I think now it's time to plate. So with this beautiful meat, it's seared, so no resting time needed here in the kitchen, so we can just go straight ahead and plate up straight away. So we've got our beef here. Something really important to know when you're slicing any kind of meat, you have muscle fibers that go one way. Always you need to cut over, across, and never with the muscle fibers. And this is gonna be the difference between chewy steak and non-chewy steak, regardless of the quality. So looking at that, as you can see a nice grain of loads of different pieces, whereas if you lift it up, you can see fibers going that way. So just to remind you again, the fibers, you never want to cut with the fibers because it means your mouth's got to do the work. And then you've got little cross fibers, which is the way you always want to use the knife to cut. So we're going to get some nice little slices. Now, if you want your beef cooked a little bit more, do feel free to do so. This salad also works because it has so much gravitas and so much flavour. When we've put it together, you could actually do it without the beef. I think they complement each other in equal measure. If you feel like you want something a little bit different and you want a vegan version, you could do it without the cheese and without the beef, and you'd have some fantastic flavours coming just from the vegetables. They really are that tasty and that high quality. So we slot some of this beef down here, and the butteriness coming from this is incredible. The calm and steadiness from such great ingredients. It was really intense, and I really, you know, when you're working with ingredients that are that good, I like that kind of feeling. So we have the foundation, and here, like I said, we've got Jerusalem artichokes, and they've been cooked in equal quantities of raw apple juice with Jerusalem artichokes until they're really smooth, and then really cooked down, and then we just blitz it until it's nice and smooth. And that just works with the fattiness because you get a bit of acidity coming from the apple. And then on top of that, we have some artichokes that have been pickled. So in 3 parts. So 1 part is sugar, 1 part is IPA beer, and the other part is vinegar, white vinegar. And then you just bring it to the boil, pour it over with a sprig of thyme, 1 or 2 artichokes, just kind of sliced up really thinly, and the hot water kind of keeps them crisp but makes them edible. Really, really nice. I don't want to cover all that beef up there. So on with a few of the crisps, and this really is the texture moment. You got soft buttery beef, slightly crisp, slightly pickly artichokes. You got that nice smooth puree, almost acting like a mayonnaise does to a great sandwich, just making the dish exceptional. Here we go with a few pickled shallots. So really, really easy to do. A lemon squeezed over 1 banana shallot that's been sliced with a pinch of salt. Leave it for an hour or 2 and you get just this in front of you now. And these are a different kind of pickle to the IPA. They're not as sweet, they're a little bit more playful and really cook through the fat in the Wagyu. So lastly, a couple of elements. You got that ember oil. Is better to strain it, but I'm just going to take a little bit of the oil here from the top. It's good for it to sit for a few hours. This just adds a real smoky, kind of like grown-up flavour, you know, a maturity to the dish. Really, really nice little touch. Ember or coal oil, as I like to call it. And then really unusual, just like a good carpaccio with a bit of pecorino or parmesan. We're English, let's do it with a little bit of Cheshire. You really got lovely crumbly white, mild, almost cheddar-like flavour. Just working with the fat and the pickles. You've got a celebration of many great things going on here. We're going to bring chive batons back from the 80s. Just to finish the dish, add a little bit of vibrancy and a little bit of colour. And work with those onions. And there we have it. We're here in the market kitchen at County Supplies. We've got some phenomenal products. A little run through the dish. We've got English Wagyu from Suffolk, Jerusalem artichokes coming from Devon, a cross of a Japanese kind of plate up of beef tataki done in a very quintessentially English way. Absolutely delicious. I can't wait to get Rob over here to try it and for you to try it at home. Rob, come on. I have not got a lot to say, but once in my life, Mr. Rob, in all the years we've known each other, this is just one of those dishes that doesn't need a big intro. You look empty-handed. Have you got cutlery?
Have I got cutlery? Of course I have.
True Bond style, like it.
So come on, talk me through it. So to me, from the outside looking in, this looks like a Japanese dish, but with every English ingredient in it. English Wagyu,
Yeah.
English Jerusalem chokes.
So the DNA and the appearance is like a beef tataki. Thank you, Japan. We've got this one covered in true English style. We've got English artichokes, English shallots, English chives, English Wagyu, English cheese, English coal oil, and of course, English men. Cooking and tasting it, supplying it. What more do we need? How is
Chef,
it?
that is spot on. Just the flavours from the artichoke you think you're going to get. You're looking for that Wagyu beef
Yeah.
flavour, but you just get hit with the cheese and then the Jerusalem artichokes. Chef, that is spot on dish.
You like it?
Like it, I'm loving it.
Glad you love it.
Market Chef, County Supplies, Ryan Stafford, a bosh.